My name is Sonia Street, and I'm 32. Last year, I bought a small 3 bedroom in a quiet cul-de-sac. Nothing dramatic, nothing Pinterest famous, just sunlight through neutral walls and the soft, steady hum of a place that finally belonged to me. Master bedroom for me, tiny office for my remote work, and a guest room I furnished with a second-hand bed, a nightstand, and a dresser that still catches in the top drawer like it's clearing its throat. It was meant to be the room where people I loved could land for a weekend, breathe and go, in and out. Temporary, like a watercolor stain that never tries to be the whole painting. My older sister Camila, 34, started visiting more after I moved in. She was always in the area for her essential oil business, the kind where everyone calls themselves a leader and the PowerPoint slides have blossoms. I didn't mind at first. We lost Dad 5 years ago, and since then, Mom talked about family like it was a porcelain heirloom, fragile, precious, easily shattered by saying no. The first time Camilla forgot something, it was a lavender diffuser. "Keep it," she texted. "The room could use aromatherapy. That paint color is so depressing." I stared at my neutral gray wall. Calm, I thought. It looked like quiet to me. Then came purple pillowcases, mandala pattern, microfiber, better energy, she said, with the gentle condescension of a big sister who'd appointed herself curator of my life. After that, curtains. She took down my blinds while I was on a Zoom call and hung sheer lavender panels that floated like they had ideas about who we were now. "These block the morning light better," she said. They didn't. Every visit, something new. A Himalayan salt lamp, glowing like a small volcano. An ornate mirror she found for a steal. Wall art in cursive whispering at me to live, laugh, love. A rug that did tie things together, which I resented it for. A bookshelf filled with self-help sequels and essential oil evangelism. At some point, Camilla stopped calling it the guest room. She called it the space. The flourish in her voice made me feel like a tenant in my own house. "Do you see it?" she asked one evening, hands on hips, crystals lined along the sill like a tiny jury. "It's becoming a sanctuary." "It's becoming different," I said carefully. That night, my boyfriend Ethan came over with takeout and raised an eyebrow at the lavender spill. "Did the room join a cult?" "Don't start," I muttered, but I smiled. Ethan has a gift for slicing tension without drawing blood. He was also the first person to say the thing I was avoiding. "Are you sure this is still your guest room?" "It's just pillowcases," I said. "Okay, curtain-level pillowcases, but still." 2 weeks later, Camilla called. "I'm coming Thursday instead of Friday," she chirped, as if I were her receptionist. "Big week, key meetings. I'm bringing a few more things for the space. You'll love what I'm doing with the accent wall." "Accent wall?" I repeated. My stomach tripped. "Wait until you see the wallpaper samples. The energy's really coming together." After we hung up, I went to the guest room. I stood there long enough for the diffuser to notice me and begin exhaling purple fog. The dresser held Camilla's bras, folded like origami. The bathroom next door had her cleansers ranked from glow to radiance. On the back of the door, a vision board shouted 2025 goals, manifest, luxury cars, and flights pinned like butterflies. It looked less like a weekend drop bag and more like occupancy. "You're allowed to not like this," Ethan said when he saw my face later. "You're allowed to say no." "Mom says family helps family." He'd heard that line. Helping isn't handing over your house keys to a dream with invoices. Thursday arrived with a moving truck. I opened the door to 2 men maneuvering a vanity framed in bulbs like a small theater production, followed by a mini fridge, a clothing rack, and boxes labeled summer clothes, winter accessories, business supplies. Camilla swept in behind them in a mauve blazer that matched the curtains, her smile glossy and tired like a long cell. "What is all this?" I asked, trying to keep the spin out of my voice. "Just a few essentials," she said. "The vanity is perfect for my video calls. The fridge is for my alkaline meal prep. Anyway, I'm here a lot. This is about being organized." She turned to the movers like a stage director. "In there, please. Into the space." "It's the guest room, Camilla," I said. She paused mid-unwrap of a ring light. "You're welcome." "For what?" "For elevating. You always said I should be more structured with the business, and this is that. Now I won't drag suitcases back and forth. It's greener." She flashed the smile she uses when she's the hero of her own TED Talk. You're here once a month, I said. Actually, she said, brightening, about that. Jennifer lives 10 minutes away, and she's top tier now. We're building momentum. I'll probably be out here every other week. Diamond status is within reach if I take the right aligned actions. Aligned actions. I felt something inside me tilt. The movers slid the vanity against the wall, then began rearranging furniture. My second-hand nightstand shuffled to the corner like it had been demoted. The bed shifted to accommodate the rug's vision. Camilla's phone pinged. Patricia's here, she said. We're doing a strategy session and a vision board workshop. We'll use the living room. Your office has a door. You won't even notice us. She kissed my cheek, lavender sticking to my skin. You're the best, Sonia. I wasn't, but I was practiced. Practiced at being reasonable, practiced at absorbing, practiced at hearing Mom in my head. Be the bigger person. Help your sister. Your father would be so proud if you two worked together. By 8 women sat in my living room, cutting magazines, chanting about abundance. Ethan texted, Want to run to my place? I stared through the office door at the ring light glowing in my kitchen. Stay. I need to see how far this goes, I typed back, and instantly hated how small that sounded. At midnight, the house went quiet. I walked down the hallway to the space. Through the cracked door, the vanity bulbs were off, the salt lamp pulsing. The mini fridge hummed like a moth trying to get out. On the bed, my bed, Camila had arranged throw pillows in a precise geometry, a crop circle of comfort. On the dresser, she'd propped a lease template, move-out date crossed out, with a sticky note. Don't forget, ask Sonia about formalizing. I stood there until the hum grew loud enough to reshape the dark. The next morning, I tried for calm over coffee. Camilla, we need to talk about the room. Space, she corrected, pouring chia into a bowl like she was feeding a pet that only ate Instagram. What's up? I didn't agree to you moving in. She laughed, the light, airy kind that makes you feel like you've misread your own life. Moving in? Don't be dramatic. I'm optimizing my visits. You're always telling me to treat this like a real business. I meant schedules and budgets, not annexing a room. She waved a hand. You don't even use it, and I invested. The vanity was $800, the rug was $300. You're lucky I have taste. This isn't a brand collaboration, Camilla. It's my house. Our family's house, she said softly. And there it was, the line dressed as a hug. You know what Mom says. We stick together. Dad would... Don't, I said, sharp enough to cut. Don't bring Dad into a conversation about my boundaries. Her eyes widened, like I'd made a scene in church. Then her phone lit. Oh, almost forgot. I gave Jennifer a key, spare from under the fake rock. She might need to drop inventory when I'm not here. I felt the ground yawn. You gave someone a key to my house? She was Honor Society secretary, remember? Camilla smiled, nostalgic and irrelevant. Trustworthy. By Sunday night, the mini fridge hummed through drywall, essential oils colonized my counters, and I found myself Googling tenant laws I had once believed lived in a different universe from mine. Ethan curled a hand around my shoulder. You don't need the internet to tell you the truth you're already in, he said quietly. What truth? That she's not visiting, he said. She's arriving. On Tuesday, at 5 a.m., I woke to a text on the kitchen island, scrawled on a sticky note next to a line of crystals. Early opportunity meeting. Back soon to grab more from my room. My room, she'd written it. That evening, a second truck rolled up. The movers hoisted a full-length mirror through my front door as Camila breezed past them with wallpaper samples. Wait until you see the accent wall, she said, eyes glittering. The energy is finally coming together. And the mirror slid down the hall into the space that used to be mine to give. When I bought my house, I thought the phrase safe space meant something peaceful, like quiet mornings, tea mugs clinking, maybe my plants surviving past a month. But lately, space felt like a word that belonged to Camilla. She'd branded it, claimed it, like everything else she touched. That following week, I was still trying to figure out how to talk to her about limits when the doorbell rang, and Jennifer, her top distributor, stood on my porch holding a storage bin full of essential oil bottles. Hi, she said brightly. Camilla told me I could drop these off in her room. Her room, I repeated. She smiled, polite but confident, like someone who's been told she's expected. She said it was fine. I've got a key. My jaw tightened. A key. To my house. To my house. Before I could say anything, she lifted the fake rock, found the spare, and let herself in like this was a short-term lease. I called Camilla immediately. She didn't pick up. 5 minutes later, she sent a voice note, her tone breezy and guilt-proof. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Jennifer's just dropping off a few things. Don't worry, she knows not to disturb your flow. You're too attached to control, Sonia. You should loosen up. That's why your aura feels tight. My aura? I wanted to throw the phone. That evening, when Ethan came over, he could tell something was off. He leaned against the counter, eyes narrowing at the diffuser, puffing lavender fog near the fridge. You know, he said, if she's got keys, that's not a guest. That's a roommate you didn't agree to. I sighed. If I tell her to stop, Mom will act like I just exiled a nun. He smirked, then softened. Boundaries don't make you cruel, Sonia. They make you sane. Ethan's calm had a way of peeling my panic back into reason. But that night, reason didn't feel like enough. Camilla came home late, humming through the door like she lived there. She floated past us with a box of sage sticks and smiled at Ethan. Oh, you're still around? Perfect. You can help me move the dresser tomorrow. I need better lighting for my reels. Ethan raised a brow. You mean Sonia's dresser? She laughed. Semantics. When she went to her space, Ethan whispered, if this were a rental, she'd already be behind on rent. She doesn't even pay utilities, I muttered. But she sure rearranges them. The next morning, I walked into the living room to find 8 women again. Scissors, glitter pens, crystals, the works. A vision board workshop, apparently. Camilla had moved the coffee table and hung motivational banners that said, expand, align, ascend. Ethan, trying to leave for work, had to squeeze past them to grab his shoes. Morning, one of them chirped. You must be Camilla's assistant. I froze. I'm her sister, and this is my house. A hush. Then Camilla clapped her hands and said, ladies, energy shift. Let's realign with gratitude. They all hummed in unison like I was the storm cloud that showed up uninvited. When they left that evening, the smell of patchouli clung to everything. I opened every window. It didn't help. That night, I called Mom. She answered on speaker, voice bright and rehearsed. I saw Camilla's new setup online. She's thriving, Sonia. You should be proud. She said you're letting her stay while she grows her business. That's what families do. Mom, she's basically moved in. She gave someone else a key. She hosts strangers here. Mom sighed like I was a teenager refusing to share a toy. You've always been too territorial, sweetheart. Remember when you wouldn't let her borrow your clothes in high school? Same thing. This isn't about clothes. This is my home. Mom's tone sharpened. Your father would have wanted you two to stick together. You think he'd be proud to hear you're locking your sister out? That line hit like a reflex hammer. She knew it would. After we hung up, I just sat there, phone face down, heart pounding. Camilla came out in a robe, a glass of cucumber water in hand. You okay? She asked sweetly. You've been on the phone forever. I looked up. Did you tell Mom you live here now? Her expression didn't flicker. She's excited for me. You should be too. I mean, who else lets their sister crash in such a beautiful home? You mean my home? She gave that slow smile, the one that always made me feel like I'd missed the joke. Details. You're overthinking again. Try meditating. She walked off humming, and I realized how expertly she'd rewritten the narrative. I wasn't the homeowner. I was the uptight roommate ruining her vibe. Over the next week, it got worse. I'd wake to find her car already in the driveway. Sometimes she'd host team calls in the kitchen at 6 a.m., the ring light blinding from the hallway. She began referring to me as her support system on her live streams, talking about how grateful I am to my sister for believing in my vision. I wanted to shout through the Wi-Fi. Ethan started spending less time here, not because he didn't want to help, but because the constant scent of peppermint oil gave him migraines. One night he asked, "Are you sure she even has an apartment anymore?" That question kept me up. At 2 a.m., I walked quietly into her room, the guest room, and saw a stack of unopened mail on her desk, all with my address on them. Bills, catalogs, bank statements, residency proof. My blood ran cold. The next day, I checked the kitchen table. Her laptop was open, and on the screen was a rental termination letter from her old apartment. The move-out date was 2 months ago. The same month, she started staying more often. I didn't even have time to process before she appeared in the doorway, holding her phone. "Perfect timing," she said cheerfully. "Mom's coming next weekend. She wants to see the space." "The space?" I repeated, voice tight. She grinned. "Yes, she's so proud of how we're working together. You two can finally bond." "We're not working together, Camilla. You're living here without permission." She tilted her head, mock hurt. "Without permission? Sonia, I thought we were family. You said I could get comfortable. Why are you being so cold? Because this isn't comfortable, it's invasive. The smile vanished. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Wow, you've really changed. Success has made you selfish. And just like that, I was the villain. That night, she posted on social media. So grateful for my supportive sister who lets me stay while I chase my dreams. Had family over everything. # grind season. The comments flooded with hearts and praise. People called me lucky to have a sibling like her. I stared at the screen, fingers trembling, half fury, half disbelief. In the hallway, I could hear the faint hum of her mini fridge and the low rhythm of her voice rehearsing affirmations. And suddenly I understood. She wasn't planning to leave. Not next week, not next month, not ever, unless I made her. I used to think home invasion was something that happened to strangers, people in news headlines or documentaries. But now I understood that invasion didn't always come with a crowbar. Sometimes it arrived with a smile, a diffuser, and a woman who believed she was entitled to your life. 3 weeks later, I returned from a 2-day business trip to find my front door wide open. Not broken, just open. Inside, I froze. The living room looked different. No, unrecognizable. Curtains, replaced. Sofa, moved. Rug, lavender. Walls, hung with quotes that made me want to scream. Release the old to embrace the new. And there, kneeling on my couch, hammering a nail into the wall, was Mom. She looked up cheerful. Oh, Sonia, you're back. Camila and I decided the living room needed a little warmth. Don't these curtains make it feel homey? My voice caught somewhere between a laugh and a gasp. Mom, what are you doing here? Helping your sister settle in, sweetheart. She's finally grounding herself. Grounding herself. In my house. From the kitchen, Camila emerged, wearing one of my aprons. Perfect timing. I'm making quinoa bowls. You need to eat cleaner, Sonia. You've been living off caffeine and negativity. Camila, I said slowly, why is Mom here? Why is my house rearranged? Mom turned, frowning slightly. Sonia, you sound so hostile. Camila's lease ended, and with how often she's here, it just makes sense for her to stay. You have a big house. You don't even use the guest room. I blinked. Stay? As in live here? Camila flashed that same bright, unbothered smile. Oh, don't exaggerate. I'm just formalizing what's already happening. You love having me here. Admit it. No, I don't. She paused, eyes glinting. Wow, that's harsh. After everything I've done to make this place livable? You mean after turning my guest room into your personal spa? She turned to Mom with mock hurt. See what I mean? She never appreciates me. Mom sighed. You two need to stop bickering. Family helps family. Your father would... Stop bringing Dad into this, I snapped before I could stop myself. He'd want respect, not manipulation. The silence afterward was heavy. Camila's smile faded. Mom looked wounded. Then Camila sniffled. Blinking tears she could summon like an actor hitting her cue. I just wanted to feel safe, she whispered. You know how much I've lost lately. My job, my apartment, my friends. I thought you'd understand. Her voice cracked perfectly on the last word. Mom immediately wrapped her arms around her. Oh, sweetheart, don't cry. Sonia didn't mean it. Yes, she did, Camila murmured. She's been waiting for me to fail. I stood there, watching her play every note of a song I'd heard since childhood. The poor me melody that always ended with me apologizing for her chaos. But not this time. That night, I locked myself in my room, shaking, searching legal forums like they held exorcisms. If someone lives in your home, even without rent, receives mail there, keeps possessions, they can claim residency. Eviction laws, tenant rights. Every line felt like quicksand. When Ethan came over the next morning, he found me at the kitchen table surrounded by papers. You look like you're building a case file, he said. I might have to. He looked around, noticing Mom's floral curtains and Camila's diffusers in the corners. She's not just decorating anymore. She's establishing territory, I finished. That afternoon, Camila walked in mid-chant, earbuds in, carrying a tray of essential oils labeled Abundance, Confidence, and Defense. Morning, Rumi, she chirped. Don't call me that. She tilted her head. You're still mad? You know resentment blocks prosperity. Prosperity? You're running a business out of my living room. Technically, she said, twisting a bottle cap, it's our living room. You can use it anytime I'm not filming. I took a deep breath, counting. Camila, this ends now. Her voice flattened. What do you mean? You're not living here anymore. You have 30 days to move out. Her eyes widened, then softened, a predator's calm. You wouldn't kick out your sister, would you? I'm asking you to respect my space, my home. Respect? She repeated, then laughed, quiet, disbelieving. You're unbelievable. I pour my heart into making this house feel alive, and you treat me like a squatter? You are squatting. Her eyes glassed over instantly. You know what? You've changed, Sonia. Ever since you started dating Ethan, you've been different. Cold. Maybe you're just jealous that I'm actually building something. Building what? I asked. An empire made of candles and debt? The tears dropped. Perfect. Trembling. Strategic. She bolted to her room, slamming the door so hard that one of her crystals fell and cracked. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Mom again. Sonia, what on earth did you say to your sister? She's crying, saying you're throwing her out. You can't treat family like this. I tried to explain. Mom didn't listen. She never did when Camilla cried. By the next morning, my inbox, texts, and social media were full. Aunt Linda. She just needs help, Sonia. Cousin Jessica. Why are you so heartless? You have extra rooms. Old classmate. Camilla's been so inspiring online. Be proud of her. And then the post. A long, glossy Facebook essay from Camilla. Sometimes the people closest to you don't believe in your vision, but rejection is just redirection. Grateful for those who support me when others tear me down. #faith over fear. Hundreds of likes. A dozen comments calling her brave, resilient, pure light. I scrolled through them until my hands shook. Ethan reached for my phone, turned it face down. She's rewriting the story. You need to take control before it's too late. How? I whispered. He hesitated. We build a record. Every visit, every business meeting, every key she gives away. If this turns legal, you'll need proof. It felt absurd, documenting my own sister like a criminal. But that night, I started. I wrote down times, dates, people she brought over. I installed a small camera by the front door. Legal, impersonal, defensive. Because Camilla didn't just visit anymore, she operated. By week's end, she was hosting team meetings 3 times a week. Sometimes 12 people crowded into my living room, chanting affirmations over scented steam. Once, I came home to find a man I'd never met, middle-aged, barefoot, meditating in my backyard. When I demanded to know who he was, Camilla said, "That's Brandon, my abundance partner. He's aligning his frequency here for a few days." A few days? Don't worry, she said with a wink. He's house-trained. Ethan stopped visiting altogether that week. He texted me, "You deserve peace. Call me when you have it again." That night, sitting in the one room she hadn't claimed, I stared at the flickering shadows on my office wall. My home, the dream I'd worked years to afford, now smelled like someone else's empire and sounded like a cult headquarters. Camilla was asleep down the hall, safe and content inside what used to be my guest room. I realized then that I had 2 options, leave my house or fight for it. And I was done leaving. By the time I decided to end it, I'd stopped recognizing my own reflection. Not in the mirror. Those had been replaced with Camilla's manifestation portals, but in how quiet I'd become. I'd started tiptoeing through my own house. That Sunday morning, I woke up to the sound of clinking dishes and laughter. Through the half-open door, I saw 12 people gathered in my kitchen. They were wearing matching lavender t-shirts that read, "Vibrate Higher, Team Camilla." Someone was frying tofu. Someone else was setting out cameras. And at the center of it all, my sister, in her element. Her ring light glowed beside my coffee maker as she filmed her Wellness Sunday Live. "We're here in my beautiful home, creating abundance and alignment," she said into the camera, "and I'm just so grateful to my sister for letting me turn this space into a beacon of growth." Her home, her space, not a word of correction. I walked in. The air went still. "Morning," she said brightly, as if I were the intruder. "We're just shooting some content. You don't mind, right?" "I do mind," I said evenly. "You're filming in my kitchen. You have until tonight to move everything out." The fake smile cracked. Her friends shifted awkwardly. "Maybe we should wrap up," one whispered. But Camilla lifted her hand. "No, I won't be bullied in my own home." That word again, her home. Ethan had been right. This wasn't a visit. It was an occupation. I took a deep breath and pulled the folded document from my pocket. It was the official 30-day eviction notice my lawyer had helped me file. I laid it on the counter between her and the blender full of kale. 30 days, I said, then you're gone. She blinked. "You're kidding." "No, you've had mail delivered here for months. You've hosted business events, live streams, strangers. You've crossed every boundary I have." Her eyes darted to the paper, then to me. She laughed, that nervous, high-pitched laugh I'd come to dread. You wouldn't dare. Mom would never forgive you. She already barely speaks to me. That made her falter for just a second. You're not serious, she said quietly. I invested in this house. The vanity, the curtains, thousands of dollars. You owe me. I owe you nothing, I said. You were a guest. That's over. Her voice trembled, but her eyes sharpened. Fine. You want a war? You'll have one. She made good on that promise within hours. By evening, Mom was at my door, face tight with fury. How could you? She hissed. Your sister called me sobbing. You're making her homeless. Mom, she moved in without permission. She's been lying to you. Enough. She told me you've been cruel for months. You've changed since you bought this house. Money's poisoned you. Behind her, I saw Camila watching from the car, tears streaked artfully down her cheeks. It was like déjà vu from childhood. Camila crying, Mom defending, me standing there wondering how truth kept losing to performance. But this time I didn't fold. Mom, I said quietly, you can believe whatever story helps you sleep, but I'm not living like this anymore. I closed the door and locked it. The days after were chaos. Camilla's Facebook page exploded with posts about toxic family members who try to dim your light. She claimed I'd stolen her safe space and turned on her during her spiritual rebirth. There were hashtags. #healing journey, #sister wounds, #rising above negativity. People believed her. Old friends from high school messaged me, saying they didn't expect this from me. Even relatives piled on. My phone was a war zone. I could have screamed my truth online too, but instead I gathered receipts. The security camera footage I'd installed weeks ago showed strangers arriving with product boxes, late-night meetings, and abundance partners coming and going like it was a co-op. Then came a twist I didn't expect. Jennifer, her top distributor, reached out. She asked to meet somewhere neutral. We met at a coffee shop near my office. She looked exhausted, shadows under her eyes, voice brittle. I'm done with her, she said before I even sat down. I lost $10,000 in that stupid business, and I need you to know what she's been telling people. What do you mean? She told our team she co-owns your house, that you two invested together in real estate. That's why she can host meetings there. She's using your home to recruit people. Sonia, she's been lying to everyone. I sat back cold all over. You're sure? Jennifer pulled out her phone and showed me a video. Camilla, standing in my living room, saying, when I bought this house with my sister, I knew it would be a symbol of our shared success. I didn't even hear the rest. The sound turned into static. Jennifer leaned forward. You should know. She's also in deep debt. $40,000 at least. She's been using your address to dodge collectors. I stared at her, stunned. Thank you. No, Jennifer said, shaking her head. Thank you for saying no. She needs someone to stop her. The next night, I confronted Camilla, but not alone. Ethan came with me, and so did my friend David, who'd seen enough to back me up. She was in the living room when we walked in, rearranging plants. Wow, she said, voice dripping with sarcasm. An intervention? How very controlling of you. I held up my phone and pressed play. Her voice filled the room, the clip from Jennifer's phone, claiming she co-owned my house. Camilla froze. Then the tears came again. Not the manipulative ones. These were messier. Fine, she whispered. You win. I'm broke, okay? I lost everything. My apartment, my car, my credit. I just wanted one place that didn't remind me of failure. For a heartbeat, I almost softened. Then she added, but you owe me for improving this house. $5,000 at least. Or maybe we can count it toward rent if I stay. That was the end. 30 days, I said quietly. No deals, no rent, just leave. Her sobs echoed through the house long after I went to bed. The fallout was nuclear. Mom called daily, furious and weeping in equal measure. Aunt Linda texted me paragraphs about cold-hearted modern women. Cousin Robert even posted publicly that family means nothing to Sonia anymore. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded all evidence. The footage, the fake ownership claims, the Facebook posts, to Uncle Thomas, our family's real estate attorney. He reviewed it, then called me himself. She doesn't have a legal leg to stand on, he said. And honestly, Sonia, you could sue her for damages. She's been running an unlicensed business out of your property. She's lucky you're not pressing charges. That night, I slept for the first time in weeks. On day 28, she left. No goodbye, no apology, just a trail of boxes, glitter, and a faint smell of eucalyptus. The guest room carpet was ruined, oil stains everywhere. The walls pockmarked from the dozens of crystals and tapestries she'd hung. It cost me $3,000 to repair everything. But the real price was higher. Half my family stopped speaking to me. Mom, when she finally did call, said, "You chose property over blood. Your father would be ashamed." I didn't argue. I just listened to the silence after she hung up and told myself I'd done the right thing, because I had, even if no one else believed it yet. 4 months later, the house finally smelled like itself again. Faint detergent, warm air, the quiet scent of peace. No lavender fog, no chanting, no strangers in my kitchen claiming to be aligning. Just me, Sonia Street, walking barefoot across floors that didn't vibrate with someone else's delusion. But peace, I learned, is never instant. It's like a bruise. It fades slowly, and it always hurts before it heals. The first few weeks after Camila left were strange. Every time I passed the guest room, I half expected to hear her diffuser humming or her voice practicing affirmations. Instead, silence. Real silence. The kind that reminded me I wasn't crazy for wanting my own life back. Then, one by one, the apologies began, or something like them. Cousin Jessica was first. She'd been one of Camila's loudest defenders online, writing that some people forget family when they find success. She called out of nowhere, voice soft. "Sonia, I owe you an apology. She tried to move into my guest house last month, lasted a week. Said she'd only stay for a bit, then started hosting her business calls from my patio. I get it now." She didn't even have to say the rest. I understood. The same pattern, different victim. Then came Aunt Linda, 3 days before she kicked Camila out of her condo. Then Cousin Robert, after 5 days. And finally, Mom. That call came late one night. Her voice was trembling, the way it does when she's trying to sound calm but isn't. "Sonia, I don't know what to do. She's destroying my house. There are boxes everywhere. She's hosting meetings in the living room. And now she wants to turn your father's old office into a manifestation studio." I closed my eyes, exhaling. There it was, the full circle I'd seen coming. "She told me," Mom continued, voice breaking, "that she's charging her team to attend meetings here, in my home. Sonia, she's charging people." I didn't say I told you so. I didn't have to. I just said, "Okay, Mom, here's what you're going to do." Together we made a list. Set a move-out date. No business meetings inside the house. No overnight abundance partners. Change the locks when she leaves. It wasn't easy. Camila cried, begged, and posted new healing stories online about how even family can be jealous of your growth. But eventually, Mom held firm. I think losing Dad made her realize she couldn't afford to lose me too. Meanwhile, I rebuilt. The guest room, my guest room, got new paint, pale sage, clean, calm, unpretentious. I bought a new dresser, replaced the carpet, added a framed photo of Dad smiling in the backyard, the one before everything fractured. The first night I slept after finishing the renovations, I left the door open on purpose, proof that I no longer needed to guard it. A few weeks later, Uncle Thomas called. He'd been monitoring the situation quietly. "You handled it better than most," he said. "Camila's behavior would have dragged most people through court. You stood your ground without cruelty. That matters." His words hit harder than I expected. For months, I'd been painted as the villain. Cold, greedy, heartless. Hearing someone say I wasn't felt like being handed permission to breathe again. Then, out of the blue, I got a message from Jennifer, the ex-distributor. She'd started a support group for people recovering from MLM losses. "I thought you'd want to know," she wrote. "Camila's telling people she owns multiple properties now. She's using your house photos again, claiming she's a real estate investor. But this time we have proof. I've gathered everything. I can go public if you want." For a moment, I felt the old anger rise. The urge to expose her, to finally flip the narrative, to watch her crumble under the weight of her own lies. But then I realized I didn't need revenge. I already had freedom. So instead, I sent everything to Uncle Thomas with a short note, just in case anyone in the family plans to lend her money again. Within a week, the shift began. The family group chat that had once accused me of being selfish went quiet, then slowly turned. Messages trickled in. Cautious, indirect acknowledgments. "You were right, Sonia. We didn't see it." She fooled us all. Mom was the last to admit it, softly, one morning over the phone. "I thought you were being cruel, but she won't listen to me either. I finally understand what you went through." She paused, voice trembling. "I'm sorry." For the first time in months, I smiled without bitterness. "Thanks, Mom." Last weekend, I hosted a small barbecue in the backyard. Uncle Thomas came with his kids. Jessica brought her husband. Even Mom stopped by. It wasn't a full family reunion. There was still distance, old tension hovering like mist. But it was something. Real. Honest. When the sun began to set, Jessica asked to see the guest room. She stepped inside, looked around, and said, "It feels peaceful, like closure." I smiled. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. Later, after everyone left, I sat on the edge of the bed and looked around, at the clean dresser, the quiet walls, the faint smell of sage. No more lavender haze, no fake spirituality, no chaos. Just me, finally safe in the life I built. Sometimes I still wonder if I could have handled it differently, if there was a softer way to set the boundary. But then I remember the smell of eucalyptus and noise, the strangers in my kitchen, and my mother crying because she finally understood too late. No, I did what I had to. I saved my home. I saved my sanity. And maybe, in some twisted way, I even saved her by refusing to let her keep falling while calling it flight. The fake rock with the spare key is gone. The locks are changed. Twice. Now, when I walk down the hallway at night, the house breathes with me. No more humming mini fridge, no more chants about abundance, just the sound of my own quiet heart. And I've learned something simple but unshakable. Making yourself comfortable should never mean making someone else uncomfortable in their own home. That's my story. If you've ever had to choose between peace and pleasing people, I hope you choose peace, every single time. Because peace is the truest form of abundance there is.